Hello and welcome to Americans Talk Australian Survivor. I'm Rachel.
I'm Leah.
And I'm Matt.
Thanks for joining us. For those of you who are curious about the Instagram poll results from last night, the question, should Kitty have flipped on Caroline at this point in the game, resulted in a 50-50 split. So half of the voters thought that it was the right time to make a move, and the other half said that it was too soon. So we're really all kind of biting our nails split at this point about what Kitty did last episode, and it'll be interesting to see how the fallout happens.
Obviously a great poll question.
Yep, so we just watched episode 18 of Australian Survivor, Titans vs. Rebels, and there will be spoilers ahead. So we jump in to the episode, and we're at camp the night after the vote. So Jaden just went home, and it was obviously a big vote because Raymond flipped on his alliance and voted out Jaden. Kitty flipped on her alliance and voted for Alex, and Val got one vote as well.
Yeah, it was a big night. So it says, Valerie says to Ferris, did you vote for me? And he said yes, but I changed it because I can read the room.
Yeah, so she picked up that it was supposed to be her going home last night.
Yeah, I'm not sure how she knew.
I guess because of the idol play.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Right.
Yes, of course.
I like how Raymond says he likes to get everything into chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He likes a bit of chaos.
He's a rebel. So Ray says that he was just trying to do something, and he's surprised that Ferris changed the vote. He's asking why he did that, and Ferris said, well, because you guys were whispering, so I had to change something. So he did think it was kind of funny that Raymond, the one who flipped on his alliance, is kind of like offended that Ferris changed the vote without telling him.
Yeah. He wouldn't have done it anyway, probably.
Yeah. But so then he tells them that he's the one who told Alex to play the idol for Val. And it sounds like everyone's not that upset. Ferris says, well, this isn't too bad. And it's really not.
I was surprised. I thought everyone would have more anger, but I guess I don't know, they're good players and they're playing the game.
Right.
I think everyone also really likes Raymond. And maybe since he was so upfront about it, like, oh, I tried something, guess it. I don't know. It worked out in the end because it wasn't one of our players that went home. I don't know. I guess everyone took it well.
Well, it was interesting that later we see Valerie, Alex, and Caroline sitting on the beach, and they're talking about breakfast. Alex says, what would you like for breakfast?
Yeah, that was...
Yeah. So they're having fun, but we can't forget about Kitty announcing her flip to her group. So she goes over to the original Titans. So she's with Caroline, Mark, Val, and she just comes right out. She's like, yep, I flipped, and I'm just telling you the truth. If you vote me out tomorrow, it is what it is. And I was kind of surprised by that. It reminded me a little bit of Kelly from the original Rebels tribe when she was like, I'm flipping, and just being very open about it. I thought Kitty could have at least pretended to hide it just because how did they know that it was her?
Right. And Mark said he was surprised at Kitty flipping, but I suppose everybody was surprised.
Well, Mark did a nice job as diplomat. Training came out when he was talking to Kitty. Well, what would you want? What do you want?
Mm-hmm.
He was asking her questions, and I don't know. It seemed like they forgave her.
Yeah, Mark says that he's ready to move forward with Kitty, and we really don't see any fallout between Kitty and Caroline. I would have been interested to see that conversation between the two of them since they've always been so close.
Yeah, you think
Right.
Caroline would have been furious.
Mm-hmm. And especially since she felt it, that there was some betrayal about to happen.
Right.
Yeah. So last night at Tribal, everyone was talking about, is it too late to build trust? And it appears that between Val and Alex, it was not too late to build trust. And the idol play really helped out.
Yeah, she said it softened her heart.
So that was nice to see. So then we go over to Raymond, and he's kind of hiding in that hammock. He's pulling the sides over his face. And he's just saying, I'm not really doing that well. Caroline goes to check in. And I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if he's following what we suggested on the podcast.
Right. Let's say I'm not feeling well and have everyone vote me out eventually.
Yeah, so he was telling them he wasn't feeling well. He's not eating or drinking much. And then he says to the camera that he's a smart person. He needs a smart person to help him, and that person is Ferris.
Right. And Ferris already knows about it. So if he's going to pull it off, he's got to get Ferris in on it. Right.
And then Ferris says the most dangerous person right now is Raymond, and the smiling assassin is there to help.
So Ferris is very excited to pull this off with Raymond. And it's interesting that Raymond is so dedicated to the bit that he's not even eating or drinking.
Right.
I feel like that's extreme. It's one thing to say you're not feeling well, but at least drink some water.
Yeah, I was worried about him. But once again, we were talking about how Ferris doesn't have any bad
Feelings
with Raymond. He's just jumping right into it. I guess maybe he thought, oh, this is what Raymond was doing all along, and I'm going to help him. Maybe that's he realized that Raymond was just, but then he did switch. Who knows?
Right. No food, no water, no companionship.
Yeah. I thought this would be the perfect move for someone like Ferris, who seems to have a villainous streak in him, to kind of convince everyone and convince Raymond that this plan is going to work. And then if he's the only one who does not vote for Raymond, he could send him right home. So I thought that Ferris could really make a move there and like get back someone who burned him. But he seems to be totally into it. Working out Raymond.
Plan should work fine as long as you just keep it between the two of them.
Yeah. So I'm impressed that Ferris was able to recover from that betrayal so quickly, but it seems like they've mended their bridges. And they're putting on their Oscar award-winning actor faces.
So then we go to the reward challenge.
And this is exciting. So we walk in and we see a board with everyone's names on it. And we're wondering what's going on. Turns out the players have to take one coconut from the beginning of the maze. And they have to go over a bunch of obstacles with their coconut. And then they get to a slingshot. And they have to break the tile with a player's name, and whoever has the last name in it is the winner. And if both of your tiles are broken, you're out of the challenge. And
Interesting to me that only one person could shoot a coconut at a time.
Yeah.
You had to wait in line.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of funny to see everyone lined up. Yeah.
And the reward was high tea picnic.
Yes, with crumpets and sandwiches.
Yeah, so it looked like a nice reward.
Sure, I'm sure that would be nice.
Yeah, everyone was very excited about it.
So it turns out this is a tough challenge. It's pretty physical to get all the way through the obstacle course with your one coconut, and then you make it to the slingshot, and it looks like a lot of the players are really struggling. So you get to your one shot, and you miss, and then you have to go all the way back to the beginning. So people are tiring out quickly. They're going after each other's names. It looks like Alex and Kirby are going after each other. I saw Ferris get Raymond's name. I don't know if that was on purpose or a little bit of payback from last night.
I'm wondering how accurate you can be aiming a coconut like that unless you're really athletic.
Well, Alex is
athletic.
was able to do it. I mean,
Right.
he really smashed this.
Right. Would most of us just pull the thing back and hope that the coconut hits the board?
He could hit
Right.
his target.
Right.
So this was Alex's challenge, hands down.
Right. But I noticed a lot of the players were using almost all their body weight to pull it back because to get the coconut to launch far enough. So
a lot of people fall short at the beginning.
Yeah.
Right.
And I would like to make one comment. Ferris had his hair down, and boy, did he look different, huh?
It did.
Yeah, he looked different. It was I like his long hair.
I was surprised it was that long.
Right.
Yeah, I think it grew. It looked like since the season started. I guess he's been there a month.
Right.
So it comes down to Alex and Val, and you can tell Val is really getting tired out, and Alex is still in it. And finally, he breaks the last tile with Val's name on it, and Alex wins the reward. So congratulations, Alex. You did a great job. And so then he asks Jonathan, how many people can I bring with him?
Right.
So he is ready for it.
Right.
And he initially says 2. So he says he'll bring Val. And so we're thinking that makes sense. That's the person he played an idol for. It was second place. And it's always kind of a gracious gesture to take second place when you win a reward. And then he brings Ferris. And even JLP says, oh, interesting. So
We all thought that.
yeah. So Alex and Ferris have been at each other a lot last episode. So I guess he's looking to repair things.
And then he also brought Kitty.
Yeah, then he got one more and he chose Kitty, which was also kind of weird because Kitty flipped last night. So an interesting bunch to bring. But it was interesting because Alex then at the reward said that it's not just about the people you bring, but the people you leave behind.
Yeah, so he's thinking about what he's doing.
Yeah.
Hey, he's making plans.
So maybe he didn't want Kitty to spend too much time with the original Titans and kind of mend that fence. Maybe he's trying to keep people away from each other, separate Ray and Ferris for a little bit, and like see if he can find the cracks there.
Well, when they went to a soundbite with Kirby says Alex is going to need a lot more than sugar to sweeten up Ferris. I thought that was a funny soundbite.
And Ferris said almost the same thing. He said sandwiches aren't enough.
Right, yeah. As he's putting one in his mouth, that I recall, right? You
He
hear his
certainly
voice.
seemed to enjoy it.
But it really did look like a nice reward.
Yeah,
It looked great.
a bunch of groups of the sandwiches, it looked like, all over them, and they seemed to really be enjoying it. So I was hungry watching the reward.
Yeah. But there never seems to be any special, idol,
Oh, like a hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
an extra clue or something. We haven't seen that.
No,
I don't
not
know if we've seen it at all in this
Not this
season.
season.
Right.
Yeah.
It seems like in the U.S. Survivor that happens a lot.
And even on past seasons of Australian Survivor.
Right.
So that's weird that no one's looking for it either. So maybe they had a heads up that it wasn't going to be a part of the game.
So Alex says straight out, where do we go from here? Right?
And Ferris puts on his best acting face,
Yeah.
and he said Raymond is not good. He's thinking about leaving soon. He's very somber when he said this.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, well, for Raymond, we'll vote him out. He has to go. And so he's really planting the seeds and doing a great job of getting the sympathy vote for Raymond.
The game is brutal.
Mm-hmm.
And did you see when they came back from the reward? It was nighttime. I was surprised by that.
I guess by the time you play the challenge, go to the reward, eat, and then get back, it's a long day.
Right. No, they didn't really tell us how long the challenge was either.
Yeah.
Because they were moving very slowly at the end, going underneath that net when they had the chemical
Yeah.
coconut.
Well, they were saying they were,
Exhausted.
but what is
Gassed.
Gas. Yeah.
They were gassed.
Yeah. So, and then we go back when they return. Caroline's saying that she's very worried about Raymond, and Ferris is very happy because everyone's buying it.
Yeah, and so we see Ray. He's sitting alone on a rock looking out at the ocean. He's laying on the floor. He's really working it up. And then in his soundbite, he says that he is planning to vote Val because she will not see it coming. But then Val has a soundbite and says this is actually a great opportunity to take out someone like Rihanna or Kirby, because what's a few more days for Raymond? He can handle it.
That was so funny when she said that. What's a few more days? That was hilarious.
Yeah, she's thinking anyone can handle a little bit of sickness.
Yeah, she was very funny when she said that.
Which I feel like for, if someone is just a little bit tired, you're like, yeah, a couple more days isn't going to hurt you. So she's not being easy on Raymond.
But she has a very strategic plan, right? She's thinking. Val is also an extremely good player. She's always thinking about things. And I think she has a very good idea. This would be a perfect time to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It would be.
We're definitely setting the scene leading on into the immunity challenge.
Well, I think it was interesting because then at nighttime you see Ferris and Raymond tell Kirby. Why would they tell Kirby?
Right.
Yeah, so that was shocking. And so it did seem weird. Ferris said that they had to do that in order to keep Kirby within the alliance and make sure that she felt like a part of it. But it did seem like something they could have pulled off, just the two of them. I don't know.
I don't agree with that she needed to know.
No, I was terrified that she was going to blow up the plan.
Right.
She almost did.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm like, why would you tell me? You're not supposed to tell everybody about this.
And it was a little concerning that Raymond wasn't drinking any water.
Yeah.
He still could have eaten coconut and drank water. He just said, I don't feel
Well, yeah, that's what Rachel said. Yeah.
Well, hopefully at night he was running over to the water well, and since he
I
was
hope
basically sleeping all day. So at the immunity challenge, we see a brand new challenge we have not seen yet before, where it's a multi-level maze. So the players have a ball at the top of a 3-tiered structure. They have to kind of fit it into a maze, and it drops down to the second level. It's even harder of a maze. It looks like the walls keeping the ball within the maze are really, really low. So it's really difficult for it not to just fall right out. And then if you get it into the spot on the third maze on the very bottom, you win immunity.
Wow, it was something else's challenge.
An added layer of difficulty is that the first maze and the second maze are still on top of the other ones. So you're kind of like hunched over to look. Like you can't get a good view of the second and third maze because they're underneath. So it looked like a really tricky one.
Yeah, the people who are coming up with these challenges are, and once again, everything about Australian Survivor is top class, right? First class. Their episodes, their tribe that they choose, and the challenges. Although some of the challenges I think are too rough, but it seems like this season they're not as rough as they have been.
But this one's particularly challenging because, like Rachel was saying, you can't see, so you need to move your hands down, or at least that's what Valeria was doing, moving her hands
Val
down.
was crouching down,
Right.
and Kitty was more looking down.
But it's just very difficult to get in there and see what's going on.
Yeah, so a lot of different ways you can do it, but it's not easy regardless. So a very difficult setup. We saw a lot of people make it to the second level, even the third level, and then just fall out right away. So it looks like one of those challenges where you just have to keep trying and trying and trying. We saw Caroline do really well. Kitty was doing well for a while. Val was doing well. And finally, Kirby comes out on top. She won her first individual immunity. So congratulations, Kirby. I was thinking while I was watching it, she looked like she wanted to win it.
I think she said something prior to Rihanna that she was going to win the challenge. It is interesting how when a cast member says that they're going to win it, they seem to go out and win it. Jaden did it, and I think someone else did that before.
Although maybe they're all saying it and the editors only put
That's true. That's true.
But it did look like Kirby was determined, and we've seen her at other points in the game not be determined and drop out early. So I'm glad to see that when she puts her mind to it, she's able to do it. We wish we would see that effort from her all the time, but she had her very first immunity win, so that was awesome. So then back at camp, Raymond just right up announces, I'm not doing well. I'm not in the game. Head's not in the game. Can everyone just vote me out? And he just leaves. There's no question and answer. He's just like, everyone vote for me. Okay, bye. And he stumbles off and he falls over.
How he fell was crazy and had to be so uncomfortable. He's just laying on the dirt. Half of his face is on the dirt. I mean,
It was funny.
yeah.
And he didn't move until the sun went down. He was there for a while. So good acting, but I mean, he could have at least sat down. Where he just fell over.
Right.
Well, I thought it was very interesting at this time because Kirby then says that Ferris starts telling everybody, we better vote for Raymond. And Kirby says that people are just eating out of Ferris's hand.
Right.
And she said, I even know the plan, and I'm agreeing with Ferris.
Yes.
He's that good with his way he delivers things. So people will believe Ferris. So that kind of makes her worried. And that's why I thought, she's going to blow up this plan again.
Yeah, she had the opportunity. So, yeah, Ferris says, let's just put our alliances on hold. Everyone just look up for Raymond. He's being very nice. And Val's kind of like, well, maybe he'll be good in a few hours. Maybe he won't. But sometimes, you just get better. So Val takes Mark on a chat. And she says, how about you, me, Alex, and Caroline put all of her votes on Rihanna because it's the one time that she doesn't have the necklace. She's already won 2 individual immunities. So let's get her out and strike while the iron is hot.
Excellent plan, right? It is an excellent plan. Like she said, she's already won 2 individual immunities. That would be a good chance. You don't want that person around much longer.
Yeah, it's definitely a good idea. The problem is that's only 4 people that she listed. And there's 9 people in the game.
So they need 5.
I feel like they could have brought in Kitty. It sounded like everyone was cool with Kitty at the beginning when she apologized and kind of moved forward. So I think why not bring her in on this vote and see if she's really aligned with them. Mark says, we can't bring in Kitty or, we can't trust her, but why not? I feel like what's the risk?
Yeah, I was wondering why Mark was so quick to shoot it down. He just wouldn't even listen to it. And I thought Val had a very good plan. I don't know. He just didn't want to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, if Kitty gets wind of it and tells the other group, Ray still goes home. I don't know. I feel like there is no disadvantage of them at least approaching Kitty with this idea. I guess Mark did mention that it's bad for jury votes. So if Raymond's saying, I'm sick, I want to go home, and they purposefully take out a player who wants to be there, it might look bad, which I can see. But I don't know. Try it. Why not?
Right. Or just say, then just let him quit.
Yeah.
Right? He has the opportunity to quit any time in the game.
Yeah, and we've seen it before, even on this season. You just kind of raise your hand and say, I'm done, and you don't even have to go to the vote. So a really good plan from Valeria, and she knew somehow instinctively that she needed to be working because Raymond is still on his plan to get out Valeria.
Well, I became nervous because then Kirby tells Rihanna about the plan, and Rihanna says she doesn't trust Ray. And then she gets like paranoid thinking that he's going to vote her out, right?
Even though there was no even talk of that.
Indication of that. But why did Kirby? That's why I didn't want them to tell Kirby also. First, I'm just worried about Kirby, but now she's spreading the word to someone else. The more people that know about this, the more chance that it's going to fail.
Yeah, so she said that she didn't want to leave Rihanna out of it, which I guess I can see, but I don't know. Why? It seems like it's not going to make a difference either way if Rihanna knows, so why not just keep her in the dark and keep up the acting? Because now 4 of the 9 people know about the plan, and now it's just getting to be a little ridiculous, I think.
Well, why do you think Rihanna became so nervous? I mean, she was like going to Kirby. Kirby's like, settle down, don't worry. Why did she really think Raymond was going to vote her out?
He has one vote, and he can. I mean, he can decide. Yeah, he could decide on anyone, and
I think
and she's pretty powerful, right? So she's won twice. Individual.
We saw that they just got out Aileen, Ferris's number 1, and Raymond's main ally.
Yeah.
So it does make sense that if Kirby has the necklace and they're kind of still a little bit beefing with Kirby, take out Rihanna because she's available to be voted for, and just an easy way to do it, get it done, and you don't have to work with anyone else. So I think that Rihanna is right to have a little bit of paranoia because it would be a good vote for Raymond to do. And her name is out there with Val and Mark. So she's picking up on that. She is definitely a threat and people know it. So unfortunately, the paranoia took it a little bit too far tonight, I think. She was too worried about it.
And then you see the gentlemen, Mark, Alex, Ferris, and Raymond speaking. And Alex says, let's blindside Rihanna. So there he's throwing it out too.
So it's her name is out there.
I guess so. And then Raymond says, this is my big move, and it's my vote counts. And he's taking, it's him. He gets to decide if this goes well, who goes home. So that is a pretty powerful position to be in.
Yeah, and he knows that he needs to make a big move now that we're in the jury section of the game, and he wants to win the game. So this is exciting. He's going to do his best with this vote. So Ferris is really talking up this unanimous vote. He's saying that it'll be such a cool thing to be in the merge and have a unanimous vote, and this is so special for Raymond
to have his name written down, all of them together.
Which I thought was good for him to say, because we had been talking on the podcast when we discussed the idea of him pretending like he didn't want to be there. What happens if Jonathan just says, okay, you want to go? Like, just leave.
Walk out now.
So this way, Ferris is already saying, well, we have to do the vote because it'll be so special and all of that.
Special, like a present.
Yeah, like a last sort of goodbye. So I thought that was smart, that there's a reason to go to the vote. And then Ferris is going one step further to ensure everyone votes for Raymond by saying, why don't we all yell out something nice about Raymond?
Yeah, that was funny.
So that's like keeping tabs by saying, like, you have to say that you are voting for Raymond. So he knows how to manipulate people, and he's making this sound like a really just kind gesture for this sick guy, and it's really a manipulative tactic.
No one's going to trust him going forward, but it's working right now.
It sure is. And then an interesting thing happens at Tribal. Kirby gives Rihanna her necklace.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Right, very subtly, like hoping that no one would notice.
Yeah.
Of course.
But then Rihanna puts it on, and it's not so subtle.
And Jonathan obviously brought it out. Yeah. So they wouldn't say anything about it. Kirby's like, oh yeah, I gave it to her, just kind of in case. And Rihanna's like, it's for safety. And it really perked up Ferris's senses. He's like, well, why do we need that? Why do we need safety? I thought we all know what we're doing.
Yeah, better vote for Raymond, he says.
I think that this is kind of their way of saying we don't totally trust Ferris and Raymond, and we have a backup plan just in case. And I think that could hurt their relationship moving forward.
But I don't see why anyone voting for Rihanna couldn't have just voted for Kirby.
Yeah.
She did that, right? I mean,
that's what
it's a huge risk.
Sure. I thought that was going to happen.
For Kirby, yeah.
And of course, we've all seen the clips in U.S. Survivor. They always play that one clip of the guy with the blonde hair who gave up his necklace and then immediately got voted out. That Tribal, I think it was Eric or Evan or something. So I was afraid that Kirby was going to become that person in Australia.
I really thought
Very
that was gonna
nervous.
happen also.
Mhm.
I thought Bella was going to do what she said she was going to do, and Kirby would be going home.
She was going to be the clip you see of what not to do on Survivor.
Yeah, it became very close. I was very nervous, especially because Val had been saying Rihanna and Kirby are people we need to get out. She wasn't only thinking of Rihanna, so she could have easily just flipped it to Kirby.
Well, then it was really funny because when it was time to vote, Caroline, Kitty, and Alex very loudly said they're voting for Alex, and I thought that was really funny.
Well, I was getting a little bit sad watching it because I'm thinking, oh, they're actually really saying these nice things. They're all just like wishing him the best, and they're going to be so upset when they find out it was all a trick and he's not sick and he's not going home. So it was kind of funny, though. The whole tribal council, Raymond has his hand up against his face so they can't even see him. He's like hunched over. He's really just like talking slow, really soaking it in. And then it's Raymond's turn to vote. I think he's the last one up, and he like sprints to the vote.
Yeah, right. I
never seen him move that fast in all, 30-some days. And right now he's sprinting to the booth.
Sudden burst of energy from that coconut I had 2 days ago.
Yeah, so Raymond votes, and then it is time to read the votes. But first, Jonathan asks if anyone has an advantage.
And Raymond says yes, and he says, you're all going to hate him. I'm evil.
I think
I'm going to
that-
be the most evil person here.
And Ferris looks shocked. He can't believe
Yeah, he's acting.
He was really still laying into the acting. And everyone,
Oh, sorry. Eileen was clapping.
yeah, that was
He's
fun to
acting.
see over on the jury. They were happy to see it, which is good. That's what Raymond wanted, to impress the jury. He's doing it. So everyone looked surprised, but not necessarily upset. I think they all could just respect it as like a crazy move and an impressive move in the moment. Maybe they'll be mad tomorrow, but
I think so.
everyone was just surprised, it seems like, tonight.
But I still didn't know who was going to be voted out. I was still very nervous. All right, what's going to happen with this vote?
Right,
Yeah.
because we didn't see everyone write their vote down, so you never know until Jonathan reads them all.
Anyone could have gone against voting for Raymond, and Raymond could have voted for anyone. He could have voted for Kirby, could have voted for Caroline. We have no idea.
But what was interesting, I thought if Raymond didn't get everyone to vote for him, then he would go home. But then in last night's episode, or today's episode, it sounded like whoever got the most votes would go home, right? Jonathan didn't say it was going to be Raymond.
So I think that you get everyone to vote for you. Yeah, I see. But he would have had so many votes.
I think it's just the ultimate vote is only activated if every single person votes for you. If anyone goes against that, it's a numbing thing. And if you're trying to get everyone to vote for you anyway, you're probably going to have the most amount of votes. Okay. But this would have been a great time to get Ferris out if Raymond really wanted to do something. That would have shocked everyone to get his number one in a way that, he was helping him so much with this acting.
Right.
That would have been something. But
where would that leave him in the game?
yeah, that would be an issue. But I don't know. That would have been a big move.
So then we see the reading of the votes.
And there's 8 votes for Raymond, meaning that he pulled it off. Every single person voted for him.
Crazy.
It's very
funny.
impressive.
Why didn't Val and those guys? I guess she listened to Mark.
Yeah.
And I wish she would not have listened to Mark because
Yeah. So then it all comes down to Raymond's vote, and he votes for Valeria, sending her home to be the 3rd person on the jury.
yeah, and she says, not voted out by a majority, but a minority.
Yeah.
She was very pleasant when she left, right? She did a very nice, gracious
Yes.
goodbye.
Yeah. It was sad to see when she read out her vote in the voting booth. She had said, "I'm so happy that you got your $400 popcorn, Raymond."
Yeah.
And then it's that popcorn that sent her home.
How ironic.
And then when Jonathan's putting out a torch, Jonathan says, Raymond has spoken.
He doesn't say that for anyone else.
Yeah, Raymond stole her your China spoken moment. But she left well. She said she was ready for some vodka shots, so I hope she got that in the jury villa. And I'm excited to see her as part of the jury. She has been a tough player at Tribal Council, really telling it like it is. So I'm excited to see what questions she has for the final 3 at the end of the season.
Yes, but it is disappointing because she really was thinking ahead. She was a player that was actively playing. So it is too bad that she's leaving, I think.
It is, but we do have a lot of good players. It seems like typically by this point in the season, you can see a few people that are just being dragged along to the end, but everyone's really pulling their weight for the most part.
Yes, it's a great season. They really picked very good people to be on the show this time.
Yeah. And it'll be very interesting to see what happens our Sunday night when everyone comes back to camp and they find out that Raymond lied. I imagine it's going to be a lot of questions.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, are people going to be yelling and screaming at him, or because he's Raymond, will they be like, okay?
I'm going to say within the first minute they know that Ferris was in on it.
Oh, Ferris just hurt himself.
Yeah.
Well, they showed a preview what the next challenge is going to be, and I'm going to hate it. Hate it.
I saw that.
I don't
hanging on to the rings and standing.
Yeah, standing on those pointy things, and it's pouring down rain.
That'll be for Sunday night.
Right.
So overall, we're very impressed that Raymond pulled this off.
2 nights in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, 2 nights he controlled the vote.
Mm-hmm.
He voted the last 2 people off.
Right.
I didn't think he could pull this one off to get every vote on him, but somehow he made it.
2/3 of the jury he's responsible for right now.
Unbelievable.
So congratulations, Raymond. What a player coming out of the woodwork.
Right.
Finally making a name for himself and at just the right time. So we're very excited to see how the fallout leaves us on Sunday. Until then, make sure to follow us on Instagram at ATA Survivor, TikTok at ATA Survivor, and send us an email at ataustraliansurvivor@gmail.com and let us know what you think about Raymond. Did you think that he was going to get all of the votes, and do you think that Val and Mark should have done something a little bit different? Who would you have voted for in their shoes? And you can leave us a voicemail, 475-4podcast. Thanks, and we'll see you on Sunday.